Okay, what's going on, guys? Welcome to Stock Talk with Nico Criticos. Today, we're going to do some stock analysis for SMCI, and we're going to see what's going on with the stock. Why is it down 27%? If you follow my channel, you know that this has been a stock pick of mine for what, over a year and a half now. 2025, I made a lot of money on this, and then at the beginning of this year, I also had a position, and I sold it last night. But the problem is I sold it when it was at I sold it here at $26 last night, but the order didn't go through until this morning at 23 or $22. So I probably lost a good 20% or something on that, which kind of sucks, but it's still okay because this isn't a stock that I wanted to be in. I wouldn't I don't want to see what happens with this. I'm not really like bullish on this turning around, and this isn't after you see everything I'm going to talk about today. You'll get a better idea of why I'm not too confident or bullish into this company. So, news of the day is that three of the executives were charged with conspiring to unlawfully divert U.S. artificial intelligence technology to China. And then I highlighted all the important parts of the article. This is on the attorney's office website. So we have the FBI's investigation revealed that Liao Cheng and Son allegedly conspired to sell billions of dollars worth of servers integrating sensitive controlled graphic processing units to buyers in China in violation of U.S. export control laws. These defendants allegedly fabricated documents, staged bogus equipment to pass audit inventories, and used a pass-through company to conceal their misconduct in true clientele list. Then, the scheme operated as follows. The two people who worked closely with third-party brokers with customers based in China directed certain executives of a company based in Southeast Asia to place purchase orders with the U.S. manufacturer for servers with certain GPUs. Those servers were often assembled in the U.S. and shipped to the U.S. manufacturer's facilities in Taiwan, then delivered to this company in Southeast Asia. The company, in consultation with the defendants, then used a shipping and logistics company to repackage the U.S. manufacturer servers and place them in unmarked boxes to conceal their content prior to shipping them to their final destinations in China. To ensure that these allocations were approved internally at the U.S. manufacturer, which is SMCI, the defendants and executives at Company One prepared false documents and records and transmitted false communications, purporting to show that Company One was the end user of the servers. Crazy scam here. At the defendant's directions, between 24 and 25, this company purchased approximately $2.5 billion worth of servers from SMCI, many of which were assembled in the U.S. The defendant's scheme became more brazen over time and resulted in massive quantities of servers with controlled U.S. AI technology being sent to China. Between April 2025 and mid-May 2025, over $500 million worth of their servers assembled in the U.S. were diverted to China in violation of U.S. export. The defendants and their co-conspirators took extensive measures to conceal their scheme. As one example, to deceive the compliance team of SMCI, responsible for ensuring adherence to U.S. laws, the defendants staged thousands of dummy servers, non-working physical replicas of the U.S. manufacturer's servers for inspection at the locations where the company was storing the servers it had purchased from the U.S. manufacturer. However, the actual servers purchased had already been unlawfully shipped to China. And then here's the photographs of what the warehouse looked like, as well as you're going to see a little bit more into the scam. Some of these same dummy servers were also later staged at a warehouse rented by the company to attempt to pass an inspection being conducted by the U.S. Department of Commerce. In advance of the inspection, they blah blah blah. They were, among other things, unboxing the dummy servers using a hair dryer to remove and affix labels and serial number stickers to the server boxes and the dummy servers. Blah 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 blah. So here's that happening, right? And I think that's it. So that's the main thing with that. That's what happened with that. That's why the stock is down. And then let's get into the history of SMCI. So, first one on the list here, we have going back 20 years ago, in its first year as a public company, this is its first year. SMCI pleaded guilty to a felony count of violating U.S. export laws, same thing they're doing now. The company admitted to knowingly shipping motherboards to a middleman in the UAE with the intent of re-exporting them to Iran. Almost the exact same crime they're doing now. It's unbelievable. Then they paid a fine for that. 2015, Executives pushed employees to prematurely recognize revenue to meet end of quarter targets, often shipping incomplete or unauthorized products. The SEC later found these practices artificially inflated the company's sales and margins. Then 2018, after failing to file financial reports for nearly 2 years due to the internal audit, SMCI was delisted from the NASDAQ. Bloomberg Businessweek published a report alleging that Chinese spies, now this one is not confirmed, planted malicious chips on SMCI motherboards used by Apple and Amazon. This one says there's no physical evidence of that, but who knows? May 2019, SMCI finally filed its delayed 2017 annual report and restated its financials. January 2020, the company regained compliance and relisted back on the Nasdaq. Then August 2020, they paid a fine. Then this is when I started paying attention to the company. 2024, short seller Hindenburg released a report alleging serial accounting manipulation and evasion of Russian sanctions. So, and this is the same thing as what happened in 2019, where they failed to file their annual report in 2017. Same thing they did in 2024. August 2024, they delayed its annual 10K filing, citing a need to assess its internal controls, and their auditor, Ernst & Young, resigned, stating that they were unwilling to be associated with management's financial statements, okay? They said that they did not trust all these different things. They didn't trust the financial statements. They didn't trust the executives at the company. Then, end of 2024, they're granted an extension until February 2025. That's when I was investing in the stock during this period for the company to file its missing reports. February of last year, they filed the reports under a new auditor, BDO, and the NASDAQ confirmed that they had regained compliance and they won't be delisted. Then that brings us to today. U.S. Attorney Office unsealed indictments against 3 individuals, including a senior VP and board member. So that's where we're at today. Those are all the different things that this company has been through. That's why I don't really want to be part of this stock. I don't know. You can't trust what they're doing. They obviously been doing different scams for 20 years now. So, I mean, I don't see why you would have any confidence or trust in this company at this point. So that is all for today. Let me know your comments down below, and I will see you in the next video.